Good morning. This is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. Critical fire weather conditions are going to continue across much of the area through the bulk of the work week with daily dry thunderstorms in some portions of the region and gusty winds. Although fire danger values are not at record levels, the very dry vegetation is efficiently carrying fire across the landscape, especially in the grasses and shrubs. Fire potential impacts for the next couple of days continue to show the threat for mixed wet and dry thunderstorms. These thunderstorms are closer to the dry side, especially on the western fringes here in eastern Nevada, parts of southern Idaho, and wherever we see them popping up in the central Idaho mountains. We do also expect gusty winds along the Sierra Front and parts of the parts of Idaho for the next couple of days as well. And then those winds expanding a bit on Thursday to include southern Nevada. So definitely a very active day or week, especially over the next couple of days with the thunderstorms and the winds, and then the gusty outflows with the thunderstorms as well. Yesterday we had quite a few storms out there across parts of northern Nevada, southern Idaho, and here and there in Utah. Most of these storms were on the dry side with the exception of parts of northeast Utah where the storms had a little bit more precip with them. Heavy initial attack yesterday with 56 new fires for over 16,000 acres, and this may not account for all the fire activity we had yesterday. Large fire growth was just under 1,000 acres, so a really big IA day with some of these fires, 3 to 5,000 acres or so this morning. Afternoon smoke impacts are still being seen on some of our ongoing incidents, the Crooked Fire in Idaho, and then some of the new fires in northeast Nevada and Utah. Again, fire danger conditions are not super critical for the time of year. We're right around average for most of our areas, which is well below our historical maximums. But even with fire danger values near normal, we are seeing rapid rates of spread of fire in the grasses and shrubs, and that just goes to show the fuel loading of grasses that we have in parts of southern Idaho and northern Nevada, as well as the very dry shrub fuel moistures out there for most of the geographic area. Satellite this morning showing high pressure located over generally the Four Corners area and a low pressure trough off the coast. This is keeping some of that moisture in place that we had yesterday. We'll see a little bit of drying in the west, but another day for some thunderstorms is expected today. So again, looking at the next 3 days, we've got high pressure to the southeast and a trough off the Pacific coast. This is keeping some winds in the forecast with the low hanging out up there. We do have high risk for wind along the Sierra Front today, and then high risk for lightning in southwest Idaho, northeast Nevada, and northwest Utah, where we'll see those drier storms developing again today. Maybe a little bit less coverage, but definitely potential for new fire starts coming out of that stuff. Tomorrow the low moves a little bit closer, but we'll still see some of those winds along the Sierra Front and the threat for storms as the moisture still remains in place over southern Idaho, northeast Nevada, and northwest Utah. On Thursday, the low moves a little bit closer over the northern Rockies, increasing winds in the central Idaho mountains and into parts of southern Nevada. So still wind, still lightning through Thursday. Closer look at the winds showing those breezy conditions picking up along the Sierra Front today. A little bit stronger on Wednesday, and then on Thursday even stronger across a little bit of a larger area into parts of southern Nevada and the central Idaho mountains. Minimum relative humidities will still be in those mid-teens for the bulk of the work week across Nevada and parts of Utah. A little bit higher values over eastern Idaho and western Wyoming and across the higher elevations of Utah. Precipitation for the next couple of days doesn't show a whole lot today. Again, we'll see some of those isolated to widely scattered storms developing in parts of eastern Idaho or eastern Nevada, southern Idaho, and parts of northern Utah. But again, not looking for a lot of precipitation out of those storms. Same story on Wednesday and to some extent on Thursday as well, with maybe a little bit of drying across the south. For Friday into the weekend, that trough still hanging out over the Pacific Northwest, Northern Rockies area, and high pressure ridge to the south and east will keep winds in the forecast for Nevada. We may see moisture more moisture come up into the Great Basin beginning on Friday, so we may need to bring some high risk for lightning back into the forecast. We'll be keeping an eye on that. And the wind for Friday, again, showing elevated values across much of the Great Basin, maybe decreasing a bit on Saturday and then increasing across parts of central and southern Nevada on Sunday. The min RHs do come up a bit on Friday, so we'll keep an eye on that moisture to see if we get any relief or if it's just going to be more generally dry thunderstorms back into northern Nevada and then drying by Sunday. So the precip forecast for days 4 to 6, again, showing a little bit of more moisture moving into northern and northwest Nevada, possibly bringing another round of thunderstorms there. And then the storms staying in the forecast for Idaho and Utah Saturday and to some extent on Sunday. Maybe some of the storms will begin to produce a little bit more precip in Utah on Sunday. Maximum temperatures for today are going to be in the mid to upper 90s, mostly the mid 90s for most of the region, a little bit higher in southwest Idaho. By Friday, the temperatures will drop a bit with that trough moving to the north. We'll get a little bit of a cool down temporarily. To sum things up, we've still got a lot of wind and a lot of lightning threat out there for the next couple of days. It really doesn't go away. Looks like Friday, maybe we'll see more moisture. Friday, Saturday coming back in for more lightning activity. The extended forecast for August 30th through September 3rd does put some cooler air into the west coast, particularly the Pacific Northwest and parts of Nevada, and above normal chances for precipitation for some portions of the area, especially Utah and Idaho. This concludes today's briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.